last year's Trainer Toolkit was an undoubted success, but does that carry over to the 2021 edition? Here at Silphco Consultancy, we are all about bringing you maximum value for, the product that you're trying to get your hands on. And wisdom normally says buying singles is better than buying sealed product, right? Like, if you're really trying to get the chase cards from a box, then spending the RRP for a box and then hoping to get it is probably not necessarily worth it when you can, just buy the single. But is that always going to be the case? We saw this last year with the 2020 Trainer Toolkit, with the Dedenes and the general supporters in there, that actually the price was pretty close to what you would be spending, if not even cheaper, than what you might be able to get on something like Cardmarket in the secondary market place. So, is that going to be the case this year, especially with people starting to return to IRL play, right? Like, when we're starting to get into that place, is this the right kind of product? So let's take an initial look at what's actually in the kit, right? That's obviously where the money's going to be. So we have 2 copies of Crobat V, which is a card that basically every deck might want a copy of. It's not in everything, but it's pretty common. Or we might even have things like the Tag Team Supporter. We might have the Miss Maggie's promo, which unfortunately have rotated, so from a competitive standpoint aren't particularly good, but they're only in this product, so if you're trying to collect them, I mean, that's, I guess, your value, though more on that in a second. But then we have a ton of the staple cards, right? We have things like Quick Ball, we have Professor's Research, Marnie, Escape Rope, Switch, Level Ball, all of which are going to be seeing some level of play for the next year in the most case. And also something that no matter what your deck is, like even if you're trying to be super competitive or just trying to start building your own decks for fun at home, these are cards that will add consistency, so are probably worth picking up. But is that necessarily true, right? When we could go onto Cardmarket and buy the cards individually. Now, this has also got 4 packs in the kit, which I won't be including when I buy them on Cardmarket, because buying loose packs on Cardmarket, fine. But it's hard to value a pack, right? Like, you could pull nothing, you could pull something really good, so I'm going to leave those out, but they are in the kit, so don't forget that when we look at the kit price, this includes 4 packs as well. If I were to go onto Cardmarket right now and try and buy a Trainer Toolkit, it would cost me about €27.50, plus, since I'm in the UK, about €10.50 postage. So we're looking at, a good chunk of money for the whole kit, but if we were to try and buy them as individual cards, what happens? Well, we could try and get them for the individual low prices of like 0.2 cents, but say I want to buy everything in English, and I want to make sure they're all in pretty good condition, because they would be if I bought an English copy of the Trainer Toolkit, right? Well, that's where things get a little bit more complicated, because we have to include things like postage, right? If I'm buying a couple of cards from one person and then another couple of cards from another person, I've got to pay postage twice. So it can kind of snowball, which is where we're going to use the shopping wizard. So the shopping wizard lets you put in a wants list, and with a couple of clicks, gives you the lowest price. Gives you 2 different lowest prices, though. Gives you the lowest price for a given card, and also a way of doing like minimizing shipments, which is good both for the environment, but also, importantly here, to try and keep the low value orders kind of to a minimum, right? We don't want to be spending 10 cents on an order and then €1 on postage every time, when we could maybe get a bunch of the cards in one order for 5 cents and save a ton of postage. So it honestly does make a big difference. So putting it through the shopping wizard on the lowest price setting got me a total of €54.32, which is considerably more than what we would be paying for the Trainer Toolkit on its own. And we got very similar when we did it via the lowest shipping. So here we see that, yeah, it is clearly cheaper to buy the toolkit. Now, I will concede that a lot of that cost, in my case at least, is because shipping to the UK is somewhat more expensive, right? With the extra shipping fees to ship internationally and stuff like that, it becomes a little bit more complicated, so a lot of my costs are honestly the postage. So what happens if I was, say, in mainland Europe, say in Germany? Does this still look like the case? Is it still better value, or is it just because we're saving on postage? Well, it looks to me initially as if, yeah, it's still worth it, right? We get a cheaper trainer kit, as well, right? Because we're only paying a £5 on the postage as opposed to €10 on the postage. So we're looking at €31, give or take, total. And actually our singles are much, much closer now, down to, say, €37 for the lot, which is honestly not a huge gap. And you might not want all of the singles, right? Some of them are more situational, so maybe you could actually make this one more worth it if you got rid of some of the stuff that you didn't need. But it is still there, and don't forget, this is not including the 4 packs as well when we're doing the order separately. When we're doing the singles order, we aren't doing the packs. So this is honestly still pretty good value. So that's basically our summary, right? If you're looking to dip your toes into building decks in any way, shape, or form, this looks like it could be worth it. If you're a collector, less so, and honestly, that's okay. Pokemon Celebrations is coming up, saving some money for that, and some of the other sets might be worth doing, but for someone who wants to get into playing, this is good. More experienced players may already have a lot of these cards, though, so again, they may not necessarily need an extra set of Quick Ball or things like that. But definitely something worth picking up for maybe someone who wants to try getting into playing more competitively, or even just playing in general. And let's be real, it's going to be hard to beat getting sealed product where you have guaranteed cards. You know, it's hard to argue when they're cheaper like this. So this is actually one of the better products I've seen in a long time, and that may change though when we have the Urshifu V Battle decks or League Battle decks soon. When we get those cards, I'd love to do another video very much like this, comparing is it worth it to buy the sealed product or just try and get the singles when you could anyway. But if you have enjoyed this video, please do leave a like or a comment. If this is something that you want to see more of, where we try and do like value breakdowns on sealed products, please let us know. It's something I'd very happily try and do. But with that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.